Andrew Klimps, Yoshi Big Owl. What do you guys see on this? What colors do you see? What do you think they are? Big Owl. In the wide blue sea, there is a very friendly fish. Big Owl. You cannot find a nicer fish. But Big Owl is also very, very scary. You think he's scary? Why? Why do you think he's scary? Other fish seemed to have at least one friend. Some had many, but Big Owl had none. He had not really blamed the other fish. How could he expect little fish to trust a great big fish with eyes and skin and teeth like his? So Big Owl was lonely and cried big salty tears in the big salty sea. Do you know what kind of fish are around him? Why do you think they left him alone? They're all swimming in groups of fish. Did you know a group of fish is called a school of fish? Big Owl really wanted friends, so he worked at it. First, he tried wrapping himself up in seaweed. He thought it was a great disguise, but no one else did. Who wants to stop and talk to a floating plant that has big sharp teeth? He looked silly with all that seaweed. Then he thought if he puffed himself up round, the other fish would laugh and see how clever and silly he could be. All they saw was how big he could be, and they steered clear. Is there a fish in the ocean that can puff up like that? Have you ever seen one? Very early one morning, Big Owl went down to the bottom and flopped and wiggled himself into the sand until he was almost covered up. He looked much smaller. When other fish came near, Big Owl talked and joked with them, and he had a delightful time. But then one scratchy little grain of sand got stuck in his gills, and he sneezed. When the clouds of sand cleared away, all the other fish were gone. Oh no. Would a sneeze scare you? What colors do you see on this page? Big Owl even changed his color one day so he could look like he belonged to the school of tiny fish passing by. He bobbled along with them for a while, laughing and feeling like he's just one of the crowd. But he was so big and clumsy that when all the tiny fish started to the left and then quickly to the right, Big Owl just plowed straight ahead. He went bumping and thumping right into the little fish. Before he could even say, "Excuse me," they were gone, and he was all alone again, sadder than ever. Just when Big Owl was starting to be sure that he would never have a single friend, something happened. He was floating along sadly, watching some of the smaller fish, and was wishing they would come closer. As he watched, a net dropped down silently from above, and in an instant they were caught. Oh no, who do you think dropped the net? Why do you think they dropped the net? Would you be dropping a net? Where would they go? Big Owl forgot all about being lonely, and he forgot all about being sad. His big eyes bulged out bigger and rounder than ever, and with a mighty flip of his tail, he opened his mouth and charged straight at the net. The net was strong, but Big Owl was stronger. He ripped right through it, and all the little fish rushed out through the hole. That was nice, wasn't it? Have you ever done something nice for someone to help them get out of trouble? But when Big Owl tried to turn around and go out the hole, he got all tangled up in the net and was stuck. The net went higher and higher towards the bright surface of the sea, and the little fish watched. Big Owl disappeared above them. When the little fish were able to speak again, all they could talk about was the huge, wonderful fish that had saved them. How great to be free! But what a shame that the big fish had been captured. Oh no. Just then, there was a tremendous crashing splash above them, and the small fish dashed away. Was it the net again? Not at all. It was Big Owl. The fisherman took one look at him and threw him right back in the ocean. Why do you think they threw him back in the ocean? What do you think is going to happen now? And now, there is one huge, puffy, scary, fierce-looking fish in the sea who has more friends than anyone else. Big Owl. The end. So what can you guys do to help someone that you go to school with that may be swimming alone or that is alone? How can you help them? What can you do to help other people around you? What if they're in trouble?